Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
At Christmas each year, our church always hosts what we call the Tallahassee Christmas Pageant. Though we always perform it the first weekend in December, we usually begin practice in August. Even before our weekly practices start, our leader spends months picking a theme, finding the right songs, organizing a script, enlisting people to participate. Those 2 or 3 performances in December are only the tip of the iceberg, representing the months of work, sometimes over 100 people put in behind the scenes. But we do it all so that those who watch, as well as those who participate, will begin the Christmas season focusing on who Jesus is and why He came to earth those many years ago, to save us from our sins and give us new life. Like every major performance, anything big that happens in our lives, so much of the planning and preparing goes on ahead of time, behind the scenes. All of it is orchestrated by God. Just think of all that happened in the Bible. God was always working behind the scenes to prepare circumstances and hearts for certain events. The story of Jesus' birth is a perfect example of this. God the Father breaks the silence of 400 years and sends His Son. The thing is, behind the scenes, God has not been silent. He'd been working in the unseen and unknown ways so that circumstances would be perfect for the birth of the promised Messiah. In fact, behind the scenes, God had worked all through time, getting everything ready. According to Matthew, the promises to Abraham passed through 42 generations. Then suddenly and unexpectedly, He fulfilled prophecy after prophecy. Why did He choose that particular generation? Was it because they were more godly than those before them? Or that they were anticipating the Messiah more? I don't think so. God just had everything ready. All He'd done in the past led up to this, and all He would do in the future would look back at this defining time in history. All of this happened on His time schedule, in His way. Galatians 4:4 and 5 says, "When the fullness of time had come, God sent forth His Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, that we might receive the adoption as sons." What sort of things had God done behind the scenes? At that time, the civilized world was governed by Rome. Therefore, they were all under basically the same laws, structure, culture, and language. The New Testament, written in Greek, would be more accessible for the majority of the people in the world. The stable central government meant relative peace. The building of roads made the gospel spread wider and faster than it would have in previous generations. Also, in AD 70, the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple meant the loss of genealogy records. So Jesus' pedigrees in Matthew and Luke that prove the legitimacy of His kingship would not be possible in later generations. Behind the scenes, God had also prepared certain people's hearts. Zechariah and Elizabeth, Mary and Joseph, the shepherds, the wise men, Simeon and Anna. Some people actively watched for the Messiah. So what has God been doing behind the scenes to prepare the world for what's happening in our generation? How do you see God working through COVID, through what's on the news today, through what's happening in your life today? How has God prepared you for it? We can trust that God's perfect timing puts each of us where He wants us, when He wants us there. As He controlled every detail of the timing for Jesus to come in the world, He controls every detail of the timing for you to be in this world too. In fact, He controls the timing of you listening to this podcast right at this very minute. Isn't that amazing? Remember, today is the fullness of time for whatever God puts in your life. He controls it. He has prepared every detail leading up to it. He has prepared you for it too.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.